Shri Namaste, everybody here. What a wonderful evening this has been. So far, a beautiful introduction by Vidya and beautiful songs being sung by everybody. So, in continuing that spirit, I will engage Shri Keshavrao and Shri Meera Tadipatri in a brief conversation about the Haridasa Sahitya and what is the Sahitya is all about and its lineage and what's the relevance of it and so on. So if you have any questions in the middle, please feel free to ask. It's going to be a beautiful conversation, I hope. So without wasting much of the time, I would definitely want to, we'll just go to the basics, and a lot of advanced questions here. So Acharya, for you, begin with, we know all about Haridasa Dhwani, right? So we all know, as Vidya mentioned also, it reached its zenith probably during Vijayanagara Empire, during Krishna times. But that's not the beginning of it, is what I know, right? So I want to understand what is this parampara is all about and how did it begin? Because in Karnataka we have been touched with both Vachana Sahitya and Haridasa Sahitya. So how did Haridasa Sahitya begin? And who was the originator of it? There is somebody which can be respect to. And basically, and how did it came about, and what was the main reason why it originated? So that was the influence of the time, or demand of the time, or is there any other good reason for it? Please enlighten us.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It's a very important and good question, and my task has been made easy by Srimati Vidya Sridhar. She already said how the Haridasa Parampara, like we normally know, that it started with Madhvacharya. Shri Madhvacharya, he composed what is known as the Dvasha Stotra, Vishwasthiti Pralaya Mahavibhushti Prakashane Mahavati Bandhamokshaha. So, Haridasa Sahitya, what is first of all Haridasa Sahitya means? Sahitya Sahitasya Bhavaha Sahitya. So, the one that is filled with meaning, and then it's coupled with Sangeeta, Samyak Geeta. So along with music you combine the two and the Haridasa Sahitya comes, and this is the basic meaning, and it is intended to extol Shri Hari Sriman Narayana. And of course other gods as Parivarataya Grahya, Abheya, Pradhanatah, others gods are also extolled, but the ultimate goal is to reach Sriman Narayana. So this is the Haridasa Sahitya purpose. And after Madhvacharya Samskrita, then we say, oh, is that when it started? So the Hariyannu Kondadu Haridasa, that which extols Sriman Narayana Hari, did it start only Madhvacharya? Means, if it can be in any language. In Sanskrit, Madhvacharya, even before that, it is there, because in Bhagavata, you hear about Gopi Gita, Jaitvedikam Janmana Vragaha Shaita Indira Sadhu Tatrahi. So we see the traces of Haridasa Sahitya even before Madhvacharya, starting from Vedavyasa himself. But is that the start of the Haridasa Sahitya? Sahitasya Bhava Sahitya Sangeeta Mishra is there in Samvaada itself, which is intended to please Shri Hari. So the Haridasa Sahitya in one way is anali, meaningless, but for our times we can say that it started with Madhvacharya because it became popularized, and after that Narahari Tirtha, he also composed in Kannada. So Madhvacharya did not compose any Kannada Kruti, but for Haridasa Sahitya, there is no restriction of language. It can be in Sanskrita, it can be in Kannada, it can be in Telugu, it can be Tamil, it can be Hindi, it can be Marathi, it can be any language. All that is needed is to extol Hari, and the Sangeeta Sahitya Samvaada has to be there. That's all it is needed. And after Narahari Tirtha, we hear about Shri Padaragaru. Actually, Narahari Tirtha did not have any Ankita specifically, but from Shri Padaragaru time onwards, the Ankita means basically a kind of signature. So they had at the end of the song something that kind of a signature for them, whom they considered as a special favorite form of God. Of course, all the forms of God are worship-worthy, but that's how it started. And then eventually after Shri Padaragaru, Shri Vyasatirtha did, and Vadarajaru, and others in Parampara. And finally it came down to Purandaradasaru, the most famous one, and like that the Parampara grew, and till recent times so many Haridasas came about, and the Parampara is continuing, and hopefully it will continue further, and there is no beginning and no end for this Haridasa.
So what a beautiful explanation. I particularly like the concept of this beginningless. I always do like the song like that. So you also, but they're not the only people, right? There's a lineage continuum there. So what is the, who are the main proponents of it, in the sense that we always call them Jasa Chatushtaya.
Yes.
But I also want to know from you, who are the other female composers in the lineage of Haridasa? What their contribution and what their times and periods and what their importance in the lineage of Haridasa?
Yes, it's a very good question. As you said, Gopis sang the song, so it's always there. And in our times, whatever is documented, we start with whatever is documented. It is from Rama Galagaliyava. That's when we started. It's about 1600, something around that time. It started 1617 to 1716. The big contribution is, in those times, she got married and she became a widow at the age of 12 or 14. She married an 95-year-old man, Muttalacharya. She became a widow and she had 5 stepsons. Those stepsons, they taught her everything. It's not just the song, it's about the philosophy itself, so much so. She used to debate. And won many great stalwarts. And she was recognized by Peshwas and Oderos, she was recognized. And she goes by the Ankita. Her specialty is about Pandavas, because these are Pancha Pandava, they gave her that. And her specialty, another thing is about, she sang about, her Ankita is Rama. And she sang about not only the Shastra aspect, the Gauri Hadu, Bhigara Avantana, whatever we do it's also a historical record. That's her contribution. And after that, the very famous is Hadavanakatte Rangamma. So her thing is, we call her Amma because not just out of respect. Her period is about same 1691 to 1725. And she married and she didn't live. She was a Virakta. She's very detached. And her contribution is not just a few songs here and there. It's an extensive one, like 448 verses. She 448 verses. She said her kritis were like Chandrahasana Kate and Uddadikana Kate. Nobody would have heard about it. The remarkable thing about it, in Sita Kalyana and other things, it's also 87 verses. She gives a picture of whatever we see in the Sanskrit literatures and the Sampradaya, and in the Vedas we see some the samskaras, the marriage, wedding, how to do, Aksharopana, we do it. It dates back to that. So she used to bring all that in her song, and she not only does the songs and other things, she helps everyone around her, the little children, the people in trouble. She did this community work. That's why they called her Amma. And next is Harapanalli. That's everybody should be knowing. Her thing is about Bhimesha Krishna, and she did in all festivals, whatever festivals we are doing it. Not only that, she also incorporated from Galagaliyava. She said, Shringara Tarakami, that means from head to toe, we wear all jewels. So each one she had described, and Harapanalli Bhima, she continued with the tradition, and in her songs, you see the greatness and how the times were, and also about, she describes Gopika Vastrapahana. She describes about 70 sarees, different designs, Uppada and Paidani and Patani and Banaras, and so many, 70 names, 70 colors. It's just mind-boggling, and not only the Madhva Sampradaya, we see outside of Sampradaya also we see in others also we see how they did Nanjangod, Tirumalamba, and other people. We see they used to write journals in 1960. There were journals, 28 books in 20 years, and such a great achievement. And like Tirtha Prabandha says, they used to write about the Kshetra and the Vaibhava. It is so much to do, so much research about all these great ladies in our tradition.
Oh, excellent. That was a very beautiful. You should try to incorporate those composers also in our presence and make them popular. So coming next, Ajay, you told that Sahitya means Sahitya, literature plus music, right? So specifically, what is the contribution of Haridasa Sahitya to Carnatic music tradition? Coming to mainly to Purandaradasa, we call him as Carnatic Sangeeta Pitama. Why do we call him that? Because there were composers before him also. Why do we call him as a Carnatic Sangeeta Pitama? Please.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's a very good question because, as I said, the Sanadi and even before Purandaradasa, the Haridasa Sahitya was there. So why so much of importance was given for Purandaradasa means? As compared to others, like if you see the ones before Purandaradasa, they composed Haridasa Sahitya, but they had their own busy way of things also. Because if you take Vyasaraya, he has doing so many things, so he did not have enough time to dedicate for Dasa Sahitya. When it came to Purandaradasa, as he walked, every activity he did, it was converted to a song. He's walking, he's doing, he's waking up, everything. So it was like, the tradition has that he composed like, lakhs of songs, but of course it's not available so many. But still, the way we see his songs, it fills our heart. And the thing is, why he's called Sangeeta Pitamaha is, he influenced all the later ones a lot. In the sense, even Tyagaraja acknowledges that he has been influenced by, as you all know, Tyagaraja composes songs in Telugu. But still, he was, like so much influenced by Purandaradasa. And what happened was, before Purandaradasa, the Sahitya, you have Vyasa Sahitya, Dasa Sahitya. Vyasa Sahitya was, tremendous amount of Sanskrit literature was there. But for a common man, it was difficult to understand those complex thoughts. And Purandaradasa revolutionized in the sense, he made the tattva. That's why actually there's a saying, a lot of people have a tradition that Vyasatirtha, he put along with his sacred books, the Purandaradasa's Kirtana literature, and he called them as Purandara Upanishad. That means whatever Upanishad bhavas are there, whatever are hidden, the jewels hidden in the Vedic literature, and whatever is hidden in the Madhva Sampradaya, Madhva Shastras, all the Shastric thoughts have been translated and brought into the song form so that the common man can really reap the benefit out of it. So that is why he is called Sangeeta Pitamaha, because not that he started the Haridasa Sahitya, but he made it part of life. He made the whole Shastric procedures to come and walk into our life. So he made walking, waking up, doing every activity as dedicated to Paramatma and seen in the form of a song, and incorporate in that the philosophical thoughts in there, which are very complex for a common man, but they were made easy through a language, Kannada. And as we talked about, it is not only in Kannada, we have Annamacharya Kirtanas in Telugu, and there are Marathi Kirtanas, and in other languages also. But all those things have, kind of a seed laid by Purandaradasa in the form of making the complex philosophical thoughts reach the common man through a simple language, whatever is colloquial language. Here in this case is Kannada, but it can be any language. So that aspect that has been brought into our lives, that's what Purandaradasa achieved, and that's why he is called Sangeeta Pitamaha.
Thank you. So, Dasa Sahitya contains different kinds of compositions. One, we have Uga Bogas, we have Sudadis, but especially that catches anybody's mind is Mundigeva, what we call, right? Because riddles are puzzles, right? You say one thing but mean something else. especially Kanakanandi for Kanikadasa. Can you exemplify some of them and see what the Mundigas are? Use a couple of examples and see.
Yeah, the question always comes is why Mundige? You can give it straight, right, without riddles. Why it is? The reason for that is giving straight is one thing. Riddle makes you think. We have heard so many things, so many ways we learn. We hear about Mahabharata, Rama, and everything is in the head. So when you give it in a riddle form, you are recollecting it and connecting and giving. So it's a work to your mind and the brain, and it reinforces your thoughts. That's the reason for that's one of the ways. So while doing so, your mind is very absorbed in those thoughts about God. So that's the main aim. And so one example I said how the Kanakadasa's Mundige. This one Mundige goes like this: Halava Jivana Vandale Nunditu. That means very many jivas, one leaf swallowed everything, and he discussed what are all the things that are swallowed. So how is it possible for a Vandale Nunditu? How is it possible? Then you think, Vandale, what is that? Vandale, how can it? So it must be a supreme power. So Vandale will just be connected to Vatapatra. In the Pradaya time, only Vandale was there at the time of Pradaya. Entire Pradaya. Krishna sleeps on that. Alele, we say that. Alele, Malagita Krishna. So that, what is that tele? That tele Nungitu means what is that? Then when we go into Shastra, we say that one tele is nothing but Bhurupa. Lakshmi's three rupas. It's a Bhurupa. So in that, God is sleeping means what is God is sleeping? He's pervading into her and he is doing everything. So one tele Nungitu means Narayana Krishna through his concert, he swallowed everything. Hello, Jivan. So like this, the entire song goes into how he is, and then he said, Hariya Nungitu Vandala. How can Hari is Krishna? So how can Hariya Nungitu Vandala? Then Hari has many meanings. Hari has a meaning of Maruti, Vaidev. Hari has a meaning of Surya. So like that. Parabrahmana Nungitu. Parabrahma is Narayana. So how can he eat himself? Then said, no, you have to pass it differently. Para Nungitu. Para is the great one. Swallowed Brahma, Vayu, like that it keeps on going. And in the end it says, Tanda Jagat, Vriksha Nungitu. Vriksha, what Vriksha? Everything is told. What is the Vriksha? Then it says Jagat Vriksha, Urda Mula Madasha. So that is like the entire, not only the Devatas, even the inert matter, the entire Brahmanda, and Tanda Daya Nungitu means the creators of Brahmanda. The Prasiddha is Brahma and Saraswati. So adana Nungitu. So and then he says Ashtamana Kada Nungitu, Kantara Nungitu. That means all the evil Shaktis, the Asuras, Daityas, everything. So how he did it? Adi Keshavane Bhagavan. God only knows his Leela of Samhara, because after Samhara he gives moksha to everybody. So he knows. So like that he knows.
But he even challenges in the end to say, whoever is intelligent enough can solve this related solve this problem.
Yes, that's
It's wonderful. Thank you.
And just to add a little bit, she just added, she said the Mundige, why Mundige means, when suppose you don't give the Mundige, you use in a straight form, only one meaning comes. Ele, you take the layers, many meanings. So it's up to your manana process. Multiple meanings can be there. So instead of one meaning, you can have multiple meanings. So that's another additional benefit of Mundige also.
Does Mullu come under the same thing? Mullu from Purandaradasa?
Yeah.
Yes, Mullu
So
Panayami.
what exactly is the riddle there?
Yeah, basically, it's there available in that. Mullu is like, small thorn. The Mullu Koneya is nothing but, what is the very tiniest thing is Jiva. So Mullu Koneya Mele, so that's how it goes. So from there, everywhere, like, Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas are talked about, where Sattva Guna, Kailadava means basically one who doesn't have a hand. So what it means is only Paramatma is Swatantra. All others like Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas if you take, and Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna, Sattva is Narayana himself, Rajas, Tamo, Gunas are like mistaken Brahma and Rudra, and they do not have Swatantra, and Paramatma has Swatantra. So whoever don't have hands cannot do anything. Whoever hands, Paramatma, if he decides not to do it, he won't do it. So like that it goes. Basically it has a difference. Everywhere allegorical meanings are taken or implied meanings are taken. Actually, if you, I have answered the full song of that, it's there available in Madhva Prameya Mahodadi, that site. The full song is there, which has been, and it has been propagated and others also adopted that and took it. But that's where I have given the full meaning of that, the whole song. It's a long song and it is all the thing. If you do a Google on Madhva Prameya Mahodadi, in that is there, Mundukoneyamene, the whole thing I have given a full explanation of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, okay, you also told that it originated from Acharya Madhva, right? So, can you explain how the Acharya Madhva's Tattva Shastra is reflected in Dasata compositions and how it has helped? Because we have, all of us cannot obviously go read original Sanskrit works of the Acharya. Can you explain how it is reflected in Dasa Sahitya and how it has brought the meaning and the essence, the spirit of Madhva Shastra to our lives?
Yeah. Basically, people have a little bit of misconception in the sense there is a Vyasa Sahitya, there is Dasa Sahitya. Both are giving Shastra Prameyas, and maybe there are some places, maybe the Dasa Sahitya may go against Vyasa Sahitya, there may be thoughts which are clashing with each other. As a common man, we cannot go and delve into Shastra. So, but the secret of it is it never. The Vyasa Sahitya and Dasa Sahitya, they are so much in sync. There will never be a difference. So the people, whoever have propagated after Madhvacharya, Dasa Sahitya, for example, Haridasa and they had formal education. They really digested all the Vyasa Sahitya aspects, whatever are there in complex Sanskrit scriptures, they are completely studied by these great scholars. So the people, whoever Dasa Sahitya, they read all those people, whoever came in Dasa Sahitya, they had a thorough education in the scriptures and they digested the Sanskrit, whatever complex thoughts are there in Shastra Prameyas, and then they had the divine vision in the sense how to bring the complex Sanskrit thoughts that are there in Sanskrit works into the colloquial language things. So they had that special gift. So the Haridasas, what they did was, whatever they studied under Guru, that way Guru Parampara, we emphasize so much on Guru Parampara. Without the Guru's grace, things will not happen. So they had that Guru Parampara, and if you take Purandaradasa, he had the blessings of Vyasatirtharu, and always there was a cross check. So Dasas, whenever they gave the compositions in the form of literature to the common man, before even they gave, they had that special blessings of great ones like Vyasatirtharu, who blessed and who stood as kind of a guardians, and they said, yes, we guarantee that whatever is there in Vyasa Sahitya, same thing as, like without any change of thoughts, affliction or without any variation, it has been rendered and it has been granted. So Dasas, they had the formal education in Shastra, that's what guaranteed. We don't have to, whatever is told Dasa, is it really true, 100% or not, this kind of doubt we don't have to have. It is 100% compatible, Vyasa and Dasa, they are perfectly in sync.
Oh, wonderful. We can go on and on asking questions, but in the interest of time, I'll ask one final question.
Audience, if anybody has any specific questions or anything, just you can give the rest of the time.
So, in the interest of time, so I'll ask one final question. So, it's all finally good knowing all the lineage and everything. Do we just think it as a glory of the past, or is there a relevance of Dasa Sahitya for us today? How can we adopt it? How can we better our lives? And how can we improvise that? How can we further it? Passing on to the next generation?
Yes, it is not just the past one. They have shown the way and we have to follow. So as I said, the same thread I am picking it up from the ladies who have contributed like Helena Kattagiriava and Harapanalli, Bhimava. They have, even today we follow, even today we do the, she wrote this Shankara Gandana Hadu. So same thing we follow, we do the Gauri Puja. We do the Gauri Puja because my mom told, my mother-in-law told, but we find the base in all these things. So we are the pujas, the festivals, and the weddings, everything. So times have changed, things have changed, materials have changed, where we live, everything changed. But still the core concepts, the core ways we can, we haven't been doing it blindly, but we have been doing it. It has a base, it has a support in all these things. And through that, knowing the greatness of the Lord, that's the main thing. And what we can do to improve. She is an example. Deepa is there, Vidya, and we have the SK Bhajana Mandalis, and Thursdays we come here. You know that. Every Thursday you should come here, is what my request is. Just the way, how we do it, just the way we go, we have a Carnatic music class, Taekwondo class, swimming class. It's all not, even if it is half an hour, 40 minutes, we got to go. Same way, you make it a habit right from the beginning, that Thursday, this is the Bhajana day. We will show up. You don't have to know singing. You can just join like me. You can join, you can enjoy. So who is coming today? Don't have to worry about it. You tell the children, you tell yourself, I'm going to pay my respect, pay my gratitude to God and Gurus and the Dasa Sahitya and the Bhajanas. If the child has said the same thing, hey, you're going because that's your duty, that's your culture, came from a long, long, long past. So you have to continue it. Otherwise, if you don't continue it, what's the use of coming to this place? Everybody makes money, everybody does everything. What is it in it for us, for our parents, our lineage, our culture, if you cannot pass it on? I mean, everything is in God's hands, but the attempt, the prayerment that she is making since last year. Come here and give us support. Visit the temple. Go in temple, we can sing in the house. It is in our here, we are good at singing. We can sing, yes, sure. But when you come to a specific place, in our house we do everything. One of that is singing. But when you come to these places, what they do day in and day out is all godly, divine things. So it has that vibe. So you come, you join with people, sing. That's what they call it as yajna. It's like a sangati karana, it's an yajna shabda. So that's our worship. So make it a point and do it and we'll pass it on. We'll try to pass it on. It's up to the next generation to pick it or leave it in.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's always going, always relevant. Never stop.
That was a very good closing note. Thank you very much, both Shri Keshavrao and Meera Tadipatri.
Thank you for